Okay, so today we'll talk about the mind and the body. And actually, we talk about it as if there's two different things. There's a mind and there's a body. But the truth is they're one thing. It's a mind-body complex. And it is not only mind-body, it's mind-body-spirit. But the reason we separate those and use words is it gives us a way to discuss it. Um, right? In other words, it's a way to talk about it. Otherwise, if you didn't separate it into three different components. But if you look at the mind, body, and spirit as being three components of a human being, then uh, it's even with even with animals and plants, um, but that's another conversation. But we'll talk about that. But anyway, we're just talking about human beings today. So the mind, the body, and the spirit. So um, now, where the mind and the body, now the mind, we think of the mind as being a non-physical thing, right? We think of it as just being thoughts and pictures, right? We have pictures in our mind, we have thoughts in our mind. So that's what we think of. We've and we so we don't think it has a physical condition. And then we think of the body really as the body in relationship to the mind would be the brain, right? And the brain we know is an electromagnetic, electrophysiological um, um, device, an amazing device. Okay, and in fact, there's electricity. The amount of electricity in our brain that our brain is doing would easily light up a light bulb. It's a lot of electricity. But anyway, around it is a magnetic field because if you know anything about the electromagnetic spectrum, what we know about electricity and magnetism is that if electricity is going this way at 90 degrees is the magnetic field. And if you have a magnetic field going this way at 90 degrees, you have electricity. You cannot have electricity without magnetism, cannot have a magnetism without electricity. They go together. And in fact, it's the electromagnetic spectrum that we live in. We live in and have our being. We're electromagnetic beings. And so are all the plants and everything. All the plants and animals and snails and bacteria and viruses, all part of the electromagnetic spectrum. And so is light. When you see light, visible light, So we only have the tools. We only have the mechanisms to see small portion of the electromagnetic spectrum, right? Um, so anyway, um, um, so the physical part of what we would call the mind would be the brain and then the mind. So there's a very interesting studies they're doing now. Very interesting studies. Does everybody, you all think, I know you all think that you have free will, right? You believe you have free will. You believe that you decide to do something and then you do it, right? Okay, we all believe that. Well, what they're doing now is they're able to put electrodes into the brain, on the brain, and they have the technology is very, very, very quick now, so they can measure the beginning of a brain signal the moment it happens. So what they're finding out is they give people they put people in a situation. They have all these wires connected to them, and they give them a situation where they can make two choices. They can either do this or that, right? Let's say, I don't know, for example, pick the red one or the blue one. So the person thinks they are making a decision. There's a story with it. For example, if you take the red pill, this will happen. If you take the blue pill, this will happen. Or if you walk down this road, you'll wind up in that city. If you walk down this road, you'll wind up in a beautiful little small town or whatever. So the person isn't making a decision. Well, so now here's what you believe. You all believe that you have free will. So that is, you decided, you made the decision, then your brain told your hand to push the button, right? You first, your mind made the decision, then your brain told your finger to move, right? You press the button, right? That's what we believe. Well, when they measure it, they find out that the brain wave is before the mind. Before you know what you're going to do, the physiology is there. It's already doing it. And so what these physiologists are starting, these are scientists. These are not people that that read poems. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about scientists. So what they're thinking is that the mind is sort of the byproduct of the electrical physiology, and that you had no choice but to make that decision because of everything you've ever been through in your life, because of your heredity, your ethnicity, the culture, everything that's been programmed into you throughout your whole life, and the person that you are, and you put it all together. There was no choice. You would never have picked the red one. You would have always picked the blue one. And now they can prove it because they can prove that the electrical stimulation to move your finger happens before you recognize that you want to pick the blue one. Okay, that's pretty amazing. Anyway, so now the mind is powerful too, right? Remember, we're calling it a mind. We're thinking it's a separate. Now, what the mind is made of what? It's made up of thoughts and pictures, right? And there's different kinds of thoughts, right? There's thoughts that we call knowledge, right? Like 1 + 1 is 2, right? You know that every day in the morning the sun goes up and at nighttime it goes down. You know that. These things. And then there are things that we call belief, right? We believe things, right? Like you can believe in Santa Claus, and you can believe in Easter bunnies. Now, with most religions, people say they believe in a religion, which when I explain to them the difference between believing and knowing, they don't want to use that word anymore, believe, right? Right? They want to use the word know, right? So they don't want to say, I believe in God. They want to say, I know about God. But they still say they believe. Okay? You don't believe in mountains. You don't believe in oceans. You don't believe in cars. You either know about cars or you don't. If you never saw a car in your life, your friend wouldn't say, hey, do you believe in cars? No. They'd say, do you know about cars? Okay, so that which is true can be known or not known, and that which is not true can be believed in or not believed in, like Santa Claus. Anyway, so there's something called the placebo effect in medicine, and that's why I was leading up to that. The placebo effect means that if you believe in or know or you believe in the doctor, or you believe that this pill that you're going to take is going to help you. Let's say you have a problem with diabetes, you have a problem with your heart, you have a problem with your blood pressure, whatever it is, and the doctor, you believe him, her. They give you a pill, you believe it, you take it. Even if they give you a pill with nothing in it, just water. You don't know it, you think it's got the medicine, it only has the water, you take it, 30% of people will get better because they believe it. It's called the placebo effect. That's why whenever we do experiments in science, in medicine, we have to always do better than 30%. If you have a medicine and it's only going to help 30% of the time, then it's no better than placebo, which means it's no better than nothing. It's no better than just believing. It's very interesting. All right. And I've talked before about the mind, the power of the mind. The mind can control whether or not a woman gets pregnant. Right? We don't know what's going on when two people are trying really hard to have a baby, they can't have a baby. And then after 6 or 7 years, they finally adopt a child and she gets pregnant the next month. What happened? Right? What happened? How about then experiments where you have a picture of a piece of long metal, they put it in the fire, and the edge of it gets hot, so hot it's red. Then they blindfold the person. They take a long ice cube, they put the ice cube in their hand. The person thinks their hand shrivels up. It actually gets burned. These things are real. So that's the power of the mind. But the mind is, as I said, part of the body. So that's why when you have cancer or you have any other condition, you have to work with the mind. You cannot just think that you're going to work with the body. And some people, for example, but it goes the other way around too. Body can affect the mind. So for example, someone says, I'm depressed. I'm always depressed. I'm always sad. I don't have any joy in life. And they go to a doctor. The doctor gives them antidepressant medications. And they feel a little better for a while, but it's still not quite the same. Then they go meet a real doctor, a healer. And the healer says, stop taking your medicine. Detoxify your body. Clean your body. And now, after you do that, let's eat some real human food. Healthy, living, wonderful plant food. And you see, all of a sudden, in 2 months, 3 months, you're not depressed. You feel fantastic. You feel wonderful. Yeah, you feel good because you're healthy and you have energy. Before you were not healthy and you didn't have energy. So you thought you were sad. I mean, the sadness came from the physical. So it goes both ways around. The mind can influence the body and the body can influence the mind in both ways. For example, if you're eating like 3 or 4 or 5 meals a day and you're eating lots of pizza and terrible things, and you're trying to work on a report you have to finish, and a fly comes in the room, you want to kill the fly. But if you've been fasting, let's say you've been drinking just green juice for 8 days, 10 days, and you're driving in your car, and somebody goes right in front of you, you will bless them. You'll say, go ahead. So our state of mind is influenced by our physical body. So they go both ways. The spirit is always there. You can't touch the spirit. The spirit wasn't born and it won't die. It's eternal. So, and it's who we really are. Everything else is just a movie.